It's okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I can be heard. Thank you. How's everybody doing?
Good. Good. Thanks.
Doing well.
Good.
Ready for some basketball?
Yeah. Anybody else having withdrawals?
Yep.
Recruit that young person.
Hey, Andrew, I think you just been recruited.
Okay.
Is my kid going to be the first one to crash one of these meetings? Andrew, I need you to go see mommy, okay? Go see mommy, please. Probably should do this.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Is that Ramon?
Yes, that's Ramon.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, staying alive.
Hey, that's important.
Are we gonna have? Well, we gonna have a half a season or a full season?
Hey, well, you tell us. Who knows? Everything's pretty much up in the air. We'll do some more explaining of that as the meeting goes on. But just be
Okay.
prepared.
Oh, okay, Dave, you the man.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna play basketball this year. God dang it! Come on now. Come
All
on.
right,
now.
John Lindsay, big fella.
There's the man right there.
We're gonna play
We're
gonna
gonna play.
play?
Good attitude.
sometime. Get through Tuesday. Get through Tuesday. Then we'll go from there.
That's right, big fella. Keep us employed, big fella.
One
No.
Tuesday at a time.
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
Pretty
It
good.
looks like they have their video on. Do you want me to turn the video on for you? Otherwise, it looks like I'm on the call because
Sure.
What? Help him out.
you could.
Okay.
Right.
Can't believe I did this without a tech support person.
Absolutely. Absolutely, bro. Yep. Right.
Nice to see some faces and hear some voices that I haven't heard for a long time.
Where's the donuts, Emmons?
Uh-oh.
Hey,
Oh yeah.
I touched something.
Yeah.
What happened to my screen?
Oh yeah.
you tell me where we meet, I'll bring them.
My house, right here. I'm sitting right here. I'm waiting for my donuts.
Really?
I had some 2 Saturdays ago when we were delivering rule books.
Not well. Maybe my Lloyd ate them all. I didn't get any.
Check
I hear
already.
you, bro. I hear you, man. Right. Right. I know it, man. I know it.
Benton, do I see you?
Get on some of those fuckers. You just have to get on some of those fuckers, man. I'm gonna call you back. I gotta get.
Yes, I'm here. That's me, Dave.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Be to church tomorrow. Yeah, I may call you tomorrow.
Maybe
I
we
gotta
should
talk
tell
to-
people
I gotta-
to mute
Yep,
their
that's my
microphones if
first.
they're not going to be speaking to the
My
group.
first instruction here is if you are on the call, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself, or I will go through and mute everyone, which I do not want to do. But I did it anyway.
Hey, Benton, what's happening, man?
How's it going? All right, so I went ahead and muted. Is that better? Okay, try it again. How's it going, everybody?
Good, much better.
So couple of housekeeping. Well, first of all, welcome to our first attempt at a virtual Zoom general membership meeting. We had a lot of conversations about how to get everybody together to have this conversation and be able to get some information out to folks that's necessary. I heard John saying we're going to play basketball this year. I think we're all very hopeful of that, but we also obviously have a lot of housekeeping things we have to do like we normally do annually before we can do that. And so we wanted to make sure we have this conversation with you. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started. I muted everybody. If for some reason you unmute yourself, please go back on mute so that we don't have a situation where there's multiple people having a phone call in the background or what have you. Second, please make sure that your name is the name that is listed on your screen, because during the presentations, that's how I'm going to go in and track who's here. So, you know, for your meeting credit. So just make sure that your name is the one that is listed underneath your picture on your screen. And that would be critical. Robust, Steve, robust. That's third, and I'm glad I noticed that there's a good chat also occurring here. Yes, good call, Mike. Make sure it's your full name. The third piece of housekeeping here is we're going to try to monitor the chat during the meeting so that if you do have a question, the easiest way to punch it in will be through the chat, and then we'll be able to grab it and answer it as we go. So if someone's talking and you have a question, punch it into the chat, and either I or Stacy or Leslie will be monitoring it so we can pull it up and try to get an answer in real time. I did leave some space at the end of the meeting also for some questions and answers as well. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to do is this is a weird year, so we weren't able to put out awards like we normally would have done during the banquet at the end of the year. And so I just wanted to make sure we recognize all these people. I will tell you before I do this, I have all of your awards, and I'm probably either going to mail them or try to figure out a way in which to connect with you to get your plaque or your little trophy to you. But I want to make sure everyone here is recognized for the great officiating and commitment to the association for the year. And so I'm just going to tick through a few slides here. I basically have two things to do before I start handing off to other people. And so I want to tick through a few slides so people can see. Obviously, you're all mute, so congratulatory stuff is being difficult, but I just want to make sure you guys are all able to recognize these people. So first, I'll start with the state tournament officials. On the girls' side, you can see this group of 6. We had 2 people who did state championship games. So congratulations to Leif, Ezekiel, Randy, Frank, Noel, and Mike. Thanks for that service on the girls' side. Congratulations to you for that honor to work in the state tournament. I got a chance to see a few of you work down in Tacoma, which is pretty exciting and fun. And then second, on the boys' side, Jeremy, Jerry, Bo, Steve, Mike, and Mike. So Sawyer and Lloyd, congratulations to you 6 for your work during the boys' state tournament, including a couple other state championship game representatives from the PNBOA. So congratulations to all 12 of you for your service to our association, but also for this accomplishment for you to go work in these state tournaments, and for the 4 of you who got the great honor of working in a state championship game. It's pretty exciting. And then we have, I believe, 5 individual awards, right? So we'll start first with Fireman of the Year, I should say, Trey Turner. Congratulations to Trey for that great honor from him, that vote. And then our 2 Ironmen on the boys' side, Dan Perry. And on the girls' side, Ken Jackson. Congratulations to the 2 of them. And then our 2 other big awards. First is for Rookie of the Year, which is Lisa Nielsen. And then our sort of highest PNBOA award that we give is for Person of the Year, and that's Manuel Fernandez. So congratulations to all of you for your work in the last year, the 1920 year, and for these honors and these votes of your peers and of the board. So congratulations to that group. I hear somebody typing, so I'll just remind you to mute your microphone. So then I'm going to kick right into the just second thing I'm going to talk about, which is COVID. I will just note, I'm going to assume John Lindsay's going to talk about this a little bit at the end, but I just wanted people to know a little bit about the information that we've looked at as a board in just trying to keep track of it. I think, to be perfectly honest, we're all sort of at the whims of what's actually happening in the world. And I'm sure it's not a secret to anyone that it's at present not getting better. It's getting worse. And so we're sort of following closely. There's multiple representatives from the PNBOA in different conversations about when this restart can happen. But I wanted folks, in case you hadn't seen this, to see the most recent guidance from the state on what has to happen for basketball to be played. So first of all, right now we're still working on a date of January 13th to start playing basketball, but there's some things that have to happen. So basketball is considered a high risk sport, high contact, lots of spitting and heavy breathing that leads to transmission. And so the list of things that has to happen and the number of cases, the positivity rate has to come down in order for this to be a viable option for us to play basketball this year. So you can see that basketball competitions can't begin until the positivity rate is down under 5%, that we have 25 cases per 100,000 over the course of 14 days. And then there's a lot of rules for then how basketball can be handled at that point. And you'll see when I get to this next slide that the NFHS has put together a list of recommendations for how basketball should be handled, including, this is first one here with only athletes and officials touching the basketball, how the basketballs are handled pregame and postgame, the cleaning of surfaces, the places people can go, how many people can be in the gym, no halftime performances, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to be paying close attention to that in the next 6-8 weeks as we prepare still to have a basketball season, but kind of wait in a holding pattern until these case numbers get to a place where the state will allow it. I just see this question from Reese King on here. One response is the positivity rate for COVID measured by county. So could Snohomish have games with King still be on hold? So yes, it is measured by county, but we're still going to be awaiting a state level recommendation for when basketball could start. So hopefully that answers the question. And then, like I said on this list, so basically how we're going to manage games, if NFHS making that recommendation about, what should happen during basketball games and how this should work, tracking who's coming in and out of the gym, how the home game management handles the facility, how people can dress, et cetera, et cetera. And so this will be a good thing, a link that we can include that we can send around so people can kind of see that in case you haven't seen it. So people kind of have a good sense of what we're going to be looking at. Could the season be pushed later? Yeah, I see Leslie's pointing here, and I think John will probably talk about that toward the end. I don't think I see any other COVID-related questions, so I will just jump ahead to my last little piece here before I start introducing people. You all voted for board members last January, and this is how the board was constituted based on the votes within the board this year. So some changes. Leslie's still present. I assumed the vice president role. That's why I'm doing this today. Mike Lloyd moved over to the membership position. I think Scott Federley took the evaluations role. Doug Miller on recreation, and then everything else there is the same as before, but I want to make sure everybody kind of knew how that was working. And with that, I will introduce Mike Lloyd to talk about some membership updates.
All right. Hey, hi everybody. All right, so real quick, we already talked about putting your full name into your screen there. If you don't know how, there should be like triple dots down there. Should be able to click on the triple dots, and one of the options should be to rename. The MSA, the Member Service Agreement, is due today. So if you have not signed it, please go out and fill it out. It's out on the PNBOA.org website. Even if you're not sure if you're going to officiate this year, please go ahead and fill one out. You can always take a LOA or the COVID LOA that we have out there, but please sign your MSA. I was told to talk about the rule books. We're going to do another round of rule book delivery. I'm hoping to get it set up for next weekend. Details to follow. We'll do kind of a similar thing where we're going to have 3 sites and books available at those different sites. LOAs, as you should have seen in email that Leslie sent out, we added a COVID LOA. If you're uncomfortable officiating this year, we get it. So we set up a COVID LOA. It can be taken at any time. It is similar to the medical LOA that's out there in our policies. The only difference is you do not need the doctor's note, but you will still keep your spot on the list. You'll be eligible for playoffs and state tournament. The state test won't be available till the middle of November now. I think they're going to wait to see what comes out of the WIAA November 17th meeting. And the next WARTO meeting is the 11th of November. And that's all I have.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Let's go to Dave Emmons. Dave, I'm trying to get your presentation pulled up here. Just give me 1 second. There you go. Dave?
Okay, now somebody raise their hand if they can hear me? Good. Good morning, everybody. Chairman of Retention and Recruiting. 3 key things to remember today: recruit, recruit, recruit. Any other year we would need to recruit. This year especially, we need to recruit. With the COVID leave of absence and looking at my screen with all the faces, I see a lot of people that are in that age group that I'm in that may not be officiating this year. So we need a lot of bodies to be able to be prepared to officiate this year when we start officiating. So we have put together, my committee, and primarily Brian Reisland has put together a very aggressive recruiting plan that most of you have probably already seen. But we want to make it easy for people to recruit on our behalf. Kind of did a blitz over the last week here, phone, email, social media. Tried to activate our members and stakeholders, those being AAU groups, select, school, ADs, people like that. And also to ask local influencers to amplify our recruiting message. People like Donald Watts, Bill Ellaby, Eldridge Kasner. Next slide. So we did pick up a big hitter that wants to show us how to officiate because he knows how to play. Noah Dickerson is going to join our recruiting or our apprentice class soon when we start that. Our efforts and our needs for officials have also been shared by Cameron Dollar. So we have a lot of connections out there, and we're asking everybody if they have other connections to let us know. Brian is working right now with King 5 to get on with Leslie and probably one more member and get the word out that we have a need for new officials. Next slide. We've shown this many, many times, but you can make some money while you're making money. So if anybody hasn't seen this, there you go. If you want more details on that, give me an email or a phone call. So recruit, get paid, leverage yourself, get paid even when you're not working. Next. So how can you help? Everybody probably has email, Facebook, but let's get the word out there. We need to pack the next apprentice class with Stacy and get people working out there when we can't. The apprentice class starts soon. Lower left. Again, let me know or give Stacy a call or an email if you want more information or want to help. Okay, next slide. Does anybody know or have connections to any of these people? Casey Davidson, if you're on this call, let's talk about getting a hold of Jamal and get the word out. These people have a lot of connections, a lot of people following what they're doing. So that's pretty much it. Again, recruit, recruit, recruit. Good to go.
Thank you very much, Dave. Hey, Mike Lloyd, there's a question in the chat about the MSA doc and where to find it. Do you want to answer that? It is, I can't find the MSA doc to sign on the PNBOA website. Please advise.
Hey, Benton, I'd have them send an email to Joanna, secretary@pnboa.org, and she will send them another copy. Everyone should have received an email from Secretary at PNBOA via DocuSign. So we've been doing everything through DocuSign. So if you didn't get it, reach out to Joanna.
Great. And I'll just follow up for 1 second on Dave's thing, which is they're doing amazing work trying to get the word out, and the social media follow has been great. And so also from the membership point, the more you guys can help us share that information, help recruit more people, the better. You never know when one Instagram post will get picked up and go, right? Or one tweet will be picked up and go. So I'm just trying to get that word out as much as we possibly can. Stacey, do you want to add anything to the apprentice class piece?
The only thing I wanted to say is we need more apprentices. This is the first year we're going to try to sort of do this virtually, which is going to be impossible, really, but we can get rules information and other stuff out. And so we're going to do this starting next Thursday. So if you guys know anybody to send our way, please, please, please have them sign up. I'm handing out the books today to the people who already have signed up, but we just need more bodies. So, and my committee's all working on putting these presentations together. So I thank them, and yeah, we'll see how it works out.
Great. So I don't recall totally if we've heard, but if everybody's talked about it, but in the wake of the George Floyd killing back in June, there were a lot of conversations about, how the PNBOA could engage. Leslie sent out a statement from the board just about our general feelings and our support for efforts around race and social justice. And one of the things we thought would be a good idea, in an effort to sort of look into our own policies, our own work, is to put together a committee that could actually do that, that could have this conversation about what policies within PNBOA maybe are not inclusive. How do we help improve our recruitment amongst people of color and women? What are different things, what are different ways that we can engage as an association in this effort? And so we put together this committee, and it's 10 people. It's an extremely diverse committee. We're always looking for more women in particular, both in recruiting and in a committee like this to have this conversation, but it is generally a pretty diverse committee. We've had some really interesting conversations about experiences within the association, how we think that different members might engage with the committee as we go forward. We've been meeting on average every couple of weeks. One of the first things we did was put together this statement that you see on the screen here about our goals, which are generally to build awareness, seek solutions, and offer leadership in working toward equity and justice for all. And and with a particular focus on how we can ensure that those values are met within the association. We've intentionally added some specific people who are involved in different processes within the association, including ethics and grievance evaluations. And then we actually have a member from a different association talking about assigning, which has been great. It's been a good partnership with the Snohomish Association about how we can, oh, good question on the screen share.
I was just gonna wait for you to.
Yeah, no, just it's trying to follow both things at the same time. All right, better. So this is sorry about that. This is the mission statement that the committee came up with, and what we've done since then is identify some things that we want to work on specifically, and including what happens with situations of pre-game demonstrations, and we've had long conversations about that, and hopefully to have an announcement here about that pretty soon. A big thing, though, is that we want to figure out how to get more input from other members of the association. So I saw that Leslie sent out, you should have in your email box, a note from Leslie Smith early this morning with a survey that this group put together that essentially is pretty straightforward questions about your experience within the PNBOA. And the committee would really appreciate your sort of honest and great feedback on that survey, so that we can start to both make have some more informed conversations based on that feedback. But also there's a question on the end about whether or not we can put together some focus groups with individuals, 2 to 3 people having a conversation that then feeds into the conversation that the committee is having, that would basically allow us to continue to make more informed decisions. So one, if you are interested in that, you can email me at vp@pnboa.org, but then also please make sure you fill out the survey so we get some of that information. And that note about who to email for the focus groups is actually in the bottom of the survey. So you should see that. Who's on the committee? I'm inevitably going to, I do this every time, I'm going to forget someone, so forgive me. Angela Smith, Scott Federley, Scott Ramage, Sam Cho, just ticking through my list. Phil Hunt, Jillian Quinn has been on for just a short period of time. We're really happy that she joined. Harold's gonna kill me for getting his last name off the top of my head. Harold Webb. And there's like 2 other people and I'm just blanking it. So I'll make sure that, Sam Louie, sorry, Sam. So I'll make sure we send out that Leslie sends out a note with the rest of the list. So you see that.
Sam Louie.
I got it. He reminded me.
Cool. I can only do one thing at a time. I can't type and listen.
Right. I'm trying to do 2 things at once too. So that's my, any other questions? So our next meeting is going to be the week after next. We skipped election week, and our hope is to have another piece of information for the group at the next meeting, at the next general membership meeting in early December. Woody, yes, Woody's on the committee. Yep. How was the committee selected? So this is a good question. So a group of us sat down basically to have a conversation about how we could create a committee that accomplished a couple of goals. One was that it was diverse in a lot of ways. Racially, we worked really hard to get a few women on the committee because gender is really important. And one of our goals is how do we address recruitment of more women into the association. Also from an age and time officiating standpoint. So we've got some longtime officials who are involved in the committee. And then we've got, Sam Louie. Sam, I think you're in year 2, right? So we've got some younger officials on the committee, and our goal was to be able to speak to that from different experiences. Interestingly, we also have some different professional backgrounds on the committee, which has been incredibly helpful in having this conversation. And then we wanted, like I said earlier, we wanted to accomplish a couple other goals, which was to ensure that there were some inputs from places where if something came up, it would be an easy transition to solve within our existing process. So Scott Fairley is there because if there's conversations about issues within our evaluation system, Scott has firsthand knowledge about what the committee is talking about. That's the same thing with Harold, who's also on the Ethics and Grievance Committee with Craig Tamaki's committee. And so we're able to have that quick tie back. And I think one thing I didn't note in how this generally works is that we'll come up with recommendations and recommend them to the board for action is essentially how our goal is. We don't create policy. We recommend ideas to the board for actions that the board can take. That's a good question. Any other questions? I am seeing. I see Suzanne's comment. So yeah, Suzanne, I'd love to talk to you today. And then if other people have names, let's definitely have that conversation. Okay, if no other questions, then I will kick it to Leslie.
Okay. Let's see here. So Stacy just reminded me to have everyone change their screen names so that we can get your attendance. And what you do, if you're on a tablet, please, or your computer, click on participants and then click your name, click more, and that will allow you to change your name so we can see that you are someone besides a phone number or just iPhone, so that you can get credit. So I wanted to let you know, thank you, Benton. And I want to let you guys know that the board has been hard at work over these past several months, working on initiatives from feedback in the survey. So I want to, again, send a huge thank you to everyone who filled out the survey. This was great data and allowed us a great starting point to work on some items. And, you know, and as Benton mentioned with COVID, one thing I wanted to say to all members is, I know this has been really challenging for everyone. You know, I certainly didn't, when this all came on, I knew we would be having our banquet back in April, but it's super contagious. And your board has been hard at work trying to figure out how to handle things during COVID. So one thing I want to really impress upon all members that this is going to be a team effort for all of us. We're all hoping we get back on the court. As David has mentioned, we're going to have a lot of members who aren't ready to be out there on the court, and that is completely understandable. Everyone's health is of utmost importance, and the board understands that. And so it's really important that we all remain agile and flexible, because things are going to change quickly, and we just need to do everything we can do to make things work as best as possible. And as I said, everyone's health is most important. Second, I want to let you know some board changes. I sent out an email about a month ago to let you know that due to personal reasons, Randy Churchill needed to step down as our treasurer. I am pleased to announce today that Doug Miller will be moving from recreation chair to treasurer, and Eric Briggs has graciously accepted the invite to join the board as our recreation chair. So huge shout out to Eric Briggs for joining us, and we look forward to having him on the board. I just wanted to reiterate some things that came up with the recruiting effort. This takes all of us, and it's super easy. You know, most of us are out on social media. Reshare this with your peoples. I sent an email from Brian that has templates. Email those to your peoples and ask your friends to share. I've been doing that. If you don't know how to share, if you have grandkids, your kids, ask them to show you how to do that. I consider myself fairly progressive, but I'm an Instagram hack, and I had to reach out to Joanna to figure out how to do some things. So let's all learn how to do it and get the word out. Huge thanks to Stacy for all that she's doing with her team to get these classes together, huge shout out to Scott and his evaluations team for looking at how we're going to do stuff in COVID times and having lots of contingency plans. We've been having some really good discussions about how to move forward. And as I said, there's still so many things up in the air, so we're still continuing to talk about that. Hopefully you guys understood the MSA. We have sent from everybody who's receiving emails. If you're getting the PNBOA update emails from me, you should be receiving emails from Joanna. The emails come in as PNBOA secretary via DocuSign, and the email is titled, please DocuSign PNBOA MSA 2020-21. And if you haven't signed it, you get a reminder email every 2 days. So if you aren't getting those, please reach out to Joanna at secretary@pnboa.org. I want to give a huge shout out to Doug and his rec committee. In this big pause, one of the things that came up in the survey is there's certain leagues that maybe we shouldn't be providing services to. So they are doing a total review of all the leagues that we serve, and we'll be providing the board with some suggestions on these are the leagues that we should continue to support, and maybe these are ones that we need to reconsider. I want to talk a little bit about the website. I encourage everybody to take a tour of the website. Joanna has been hard at work on getting information up there, working with Stacy and Benton on this. So there's a lot of information there. A lot of questions that you may want to have answered can be found on the website. Particularly check the board policies. And if you can't find it there, then certainly reach out to us. We will be updating those with some of the COVID policies that we've put into place. And if you haven't had an opportunity, we have had 2 sessions of our PNBOA Academy, and I'd like to give a huge thanks to Bob Huntsberger, Manuel Fernandez, and Jeff Shelton, our new co-directors, for putting together several sessions of a great lineup of topics, and they are recorded, will be posted to the website if you're unable to attend, but I encourage you to attend in person so you can really be involved in the question and answer portion. I know a lot of us want to get back on the court, and this is an opportunity to start getting engaged so that we are ready to do such. And I want to give a huge thanks to Benton for taking on the PNBOA Race and Social Justice Committee. I had this idea that you can't have talk without action. And so he may have mentioned this, but Benton, Kevin, and I got together to pick this committee. And one of the things we found, some people may go, well, why are we doing this? We're a diverse association, but as we look to try and put together a diverse committee, we realized that we had some holes in our membership. We have a great lack of females in our membership. We have a lack of young people, particularly young African-American members. And so this is really an effort to go, yeah, we've got this shiny red car, but let's look under the hood, and maybe we need a tune-up. What are we doing to make sure that we are accepting and inclusive of all peoples so that we can provide great service to all the schools and in the county that we serve? And with that, you guys have probably also seen the WA send out requests for members for liaisons. And so Benton will be that liaison. And it works out that I actually am serving on the WA committee. So there's a lot of tie-ins that we have. So I'm getting firsthand information from the WA that I can send down to Benton and whatnot. So I appreciate his effort. And I really appreciate everyone who's on the committee who we reached out to and accepted the opportunity to serve. We gave them a blank sheet of paper and said, this is kind of the big vision, you take it and provide us guidance. So much thanks and appreciation to them for doing that. And that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Leslie, there was a couple questions on the chat. There was one about our demographics. I don't think we necessarily have that in numbers. And there was another one about, are we going to have middle school C team, JV, or just varsity? I was hoping you could just address those real quick.
I will defer about having middle school JVC team and varsity to John. He's got more information on that. And we don't really have good demographics. We are hoping in the survey we asked for that information, and that was one of the reasons that the question, and Benton, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that was one of the reasons we put that question on the survey. We can certainly spend the time and go through the roster and make assumptions about our demographics, but it's really helpful if everyone would fill out the survey and help us with that, because we don't really know. But like I said, one of the things when I went through to look at people who I thought might be good candidates for the committee, I noticed this big hole that we didn't have any women and our lack of young members. So yes, I'd encourage everyone to please fill out the survey. It's super helpful to us. Were there other questions?
Can I reiterate that, Leslie? So from the committee asked this question. The committee asked this question, do we have a demographic breakdown? And the answer was not really. And the conversation went, should we go through the list and extrapolate? And we didn't want to do that. So I can't stress enough actually that the self-reporting on this survey is going to help us get this data. And it is going to be important as we do things maybe like set recruitment goals and things like that. So I just can't stress enough, like even if you only filled that question, obviously we would prefer you to fill out the whole thing, but the demographic questions are at the bottom of the survey. So like make sure you scroll to the bottom and fill those questions out, because those are going to be really helpful to our conversation going forward.
And just a reminder, if you're having problems changing your name, put something in the chat, or in the chat, can you put your name so we know you're here and you can be, you can get credit for this meeting. So thanks, Benton.
Thank you, Leslie. I don't know if Leslie Fitzpatrick made it, so we'll start with John.
I think John's just going to cover for.
You're going to cover for both?
Yeah, I'll cover for both.
Okay, great.
Hello, everybody. Leslie is traveling today, so she won't be on the call. Boy, 2020 has been screwed. That's basically the bottom line. We should be out there playing right now. We could be playing fall games, but obviously the COVID numbers don't meet the requirements. So hopefully here, the WIA meets on the 17th. They're going to give us some clarification for the year. I've had personal conversations with God, and he has confirmed that we will be playing basketball sometime this year, next year. Hopefully it'll be in January. It could be in April or May. There's conversations of moving it later in the year. There's a lot of options out there right now. We just don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully after Tuesday, we'll get some things moving in the right direction. Thank God the election will be done and gone. But I think in the next couple of weeks, we're going to get more information for basketball season. Right now, it's at the high-risk sport, so we wouldn't be able to play basketball unless the numbers are changed or the numbers go down. So there's a lot of things that are in play that we don't know. We have been contacted by the Auburn School District and the Kent School District. They're planning on playing a junior high toward the end of the high school season. If we start the high school season in January, February, they would play their boys junior high at the end of the year and then play the girls junior high right after that. They were probably the two school districts are the most forward thinking. And then I got an email this week from the Seattle school middle school, so they wanted to start their middle school season in February and run it February and March on Saturdays like they've done in the past. I contacted Lake Washington, North Shore, Shoreline, Edmonds, and all the school districts are on hold until they find out more information from WIA. A lot of school districts are closed right now, and they won't let anybody into their gym. So there couldn't even be games played unless they can find a facility or a private school or some community center that they could play games at. CYL is the same thing, talking about playing games in January and February. So leagues and schools are planning on it to go ahead. If you read some of the guidelines that we talked about from the WIA when they first came out with the report, is that actually when the game starts and you throw the ball up in the air, you did not have to wear a mask. Everything before that you would have to. There's different guidelines on cleaning the ball in between quarters. Guidelines right now that says that mom or dad could go to the game, but not both. So there could be some restrictions on how many people can attend the games as fans. So there's just so much things up in the air, so many different planning levels and different what we're going to do. There's what's talk about basketball and volleyball switching years or switching seasons, where volleyball would start up in January and football and basketball we played at the same time. So they're trying to work on a schedule. They're trying to plan on having 70% of sports this year. How you can do that from January to June, there obviously is going to be some overlapping in all the different sports. What you could do for us right now is get yourself registered. I sent out an email that you can go to the Arbiter Hub Eligibility Center and get yourself registered. As soon as the tests and clinic and all the other requirements come available here, probably by Thanksgiving, then you can go in and get yourself certified. But it gives you a few options to get everything going by getting yourself registered. I don't, Leslie, we could play AAU games right now, but like I said, the numbers don't meet the requirement to let us play, and then trying to find the facilities. Hopefully things will change in the next month or so, and it'll give us the ability to do that. I hope there's a vaccine by Christmas. That's my one present I want. And hopefully everybody will be able to officiate and don't make a decision about COVID in October. We don't know what's going on for this season, and you can sure make that decision in December. So please hold on if you're planning on not working. And I think on the chat, somebody asked about Idaho. They're playing games. So you drive 9 miles across the state lines, and all of a sudden you've got schools that are playing a full season right now and are in school. So it's definitely, if you look across the country, I think there's 38 states that are playing fall sports right now. There has been a couple issues. I know Michigan is closed down for a couple weeks now. So we'll just see what happens here in the near future. But I'm praying that we're going to be able to play, and you all be safe, and the kids can get out there and get off the computer and actually do something. That's all I have for right now. So,
Hey, John,
yes.
there was a question about CYO, if there was any word on that.
Yeah, they're gonna January and February. They're planning on playing. They sent a tentative schedule out, so I think we're here more in the future. But shouts out to David and Brian Reisland for what they've done and things like that. I was interviewed by Como Radio, Bill Schwartz. I've got more of a radio face. So hopefully we've got some more things coming out with the media and some of the things. I'm working on a Twitter account so I can give you a thought of the day. But be positive. God damn it, we're going to play. All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot, John, and to everybody for presenting today and everybody for joining in our first effort on this virtual meeting. This is how we're going to do them this year, just in light of the situation that we're in. But a few reminders before everybody goes. Like Mike said, today is the deadline for the MSA, so get that signed. And if for some reason you don't have, you lost the 15 emails, because I got those early on in the process. Email Joanna at secretary@pnboa.org to get that figured out. I believe there's 2 training academy classes next week, so take a look at those. And remember, those count for that 1 extra meeting credit that you want to get. So we would really love for people to do this. It's a really good opportunity for everybody to be part of that. And then please, please, please help us with recruitment. If you can get the information out over social media, talk to friends, etc. This is we say this every year, but we're in a really difficult spot trying to get more people to join us on the court. So all the help we can get, and that recruitment incentive is great too. So thanks again for joining, and let us know if you have any questions by email, and we'll see you guys in a few weeks.
Don't forget to vote.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Briggs. Vote, yeah.
And set your clocks back.
Hashtag mask up to open up.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Less than an hour. Whoa. I thought it was
Thank
an
you.
hour and 30 minutes.
Inside the hour. Good job, everybody.
Nice job, people. Hey, Kent, turn your thing off, Special K.